The world turned upside down in a heartbeat, as if the very fabric of reality had been torn apart. Lucia gazed out the airplane window, mesmerized by the vast expanse of the Amazon rainforest stretching endlessly below, a sea of green that seemed to go on forever. Suddenly a violent jolt, metal screamed, the plane lurched, and chaos erupted. It was as if the sky itself had turned hostile, shaking the aircraft with an unforgiving fury. Screams and the shriek of a failing engine filled the cabin, a cacophony of terror that drowned out all rational thought. Lucia gripped the armrests, her knuckles white, as the aircraft spiraled downward. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drumbeat of fear. The world became a blur of noise and fear, a chaotic symphony of panic and despair. Impact, metal groaned, glass shattered, then silence, a silence so profound it seemed to swallow the world whole. Lucia, still strapped to her seat, was ripped from the plane and plunged through the jungle canopy, the world spinning around her in a dizzying dance of green and brown. Branches whipped her, slowing her fall, a violent cradle of leaves and vines that seemed both cruel and merciful. Her mind reeled, unable to process the noise, the fall, the sudden quiet. It was as if time itself had fractured, leaving her suspended in a moment of disbelief. Darkness claimed her, a heavy curtain dropping over her consciousness, pulling her into a deep, dreamless void. The last thing she saw, a patch of blue sky shrinking behind a tunnel of green, a fleeting glimpse of the world above before it vanished completely. The jungle swallowed the plane, and her. It was as if the rainforest had opened its arms to embrace the wreckage, hiding it from the world. She landed, battered and bruised on the damp forest floor, the earth cool and unyielding beneath her. The ancient rainforest continued, indifferent to the small life it had just claimed, its vastness a testament to the enduring power of nature. Lucia was alone, unconscious, in the heart of the world's most dangerous wilderness, a solitary figure lost amidst the endless green, her fate uncertain in the embrace of the jungle. A single, golden ray of sunlight pierced the thick, tangled canopy above, gently waking Lucia from a restless, dreamless sleep. The light seemed almost out of place in the shadowy world around her, a fragile thread connecting her to the world she once knew. She opened her eyes to a suffocating wall of green, leaves pressed close, vines twisted overhead, and trees soared impossibly high, their branches weaving a living ceiling. The air was thick, humid, and heavy with the scent of earth and growing things. Confusion clouded her mind, a fog of panic and disbelief. Where was she? How had she ended up here, alone and vulnerable in this endless sea of green? She tried to sit up, but a sharp, searing pain shot through her arm and collarbone, forcing her back down. Every movement sent fresh waves of agony through her battered body. A weak, desperate cry escaped her lips, but the jungle swallowed the sound whole. The silence pressed in, broken only by the distant calls of unseen birds and the rustle of leaves. Suddenly memories crashed over her, the roar of the engine, the jolt of turbulence, the terror of falling. The plane, the chaos, the impact. She remembered tumbling through the air, the world spinning, then nothing. Panic bubbled up inside her, rising like a tide. She was utterly alone, surrounded by a wilderness that seemed to stretch on forever. She called out for her parents, her voice trembling with fear and hope, but only the steady drip of water from the leaves and the relentless buzz of insects answered her. The jungle was indifferent to her suffering. She looked down at her arm, bent at an unnatural angle, swelling rapidly and throbbing with pain. The sight made her stomach twist with dread. Her dress was torn, stained with blood and streaked with dirt. Scratches covered her legs and arms. This was no dream. This was a nightmare made real. She scanned the jungle floor for any sign of the wreckage, but it was gone. The forest had already begun to reclaim everything, erasing all trace of the crash except for her. Fear threatened to paralyze her, to root her to the spot, but somewhere deep inside a flicker of defiance sparked, a stubborn refusal to give in. Her father's voice echoed in her mind, clear and steady. "Stay strong, Lucia, you are a survivor." She clung to those words, letting them anchor her in the chaos. Gritting her teeth, Lucia forced herself upright, every movement a battle against pain and despair. Tears streamed down her face, but she refused to let them blind her. She knew she couldn't stay put. The jungle was alive and danger could be lurking anywhere. If she wanted to survive, she had to move, to find help, to keep hope alive. The jungle was a maze of tangled roots and towering trees, every direction looking the same, but Lucia steeled herself. She had to try, to take that first step. As the first day in the Amazon began, Lucia made her choice. She would fight. She would survive. And with each step, she moved further from fear and closer to hope. As dusk fell, the jungle transformed. Daytime sounds faded, replaced by a menacing chorus, growls, hisses, and unseen rustlings. Lucia huddled at the base of a giant tree, cold and terrified. Her broken arm throbbed, insects tormented her. Every shadow became a threat, every sound a monster. Sleep was impossible. Fear kept her senses on high alert. The jungle was a living nightmare, and she was trapped inside it. She learned quickly, in the Amazon, the unseen threats are the most terrifying. To survive, she'd have to conquer her fear as much as the jungle itself. Dawn brought relief and a desperate thirst. Lucia's mouth was dry, her lips cracked. She needed water. Remembering that water flows downhill, she forced herself to walk, searching for a slope. Hours passed, her body aching, but then, a faint trickle reached her ears. She followed the sound, hope rising until she found a clear stream. She drank deeply, the water reviving her spirit. The stream was more than water, it was a path. If she followed it, maybe it would lead to people. Nearby, she found red berries she recognized from a book. Hunger overcame caution. She ate, and they were sour but safe. With water and food, Lucia felt determination return. The jungle had tried to break her, but she was fighting back. The stream became her guide out of the green hell. She pressed on, following hope. Days blurred into a cycle of pain and hunger. Loneliness pressed in, so Lucia talked to herself for comfort. She remembered her family, their faces fueling her will to survive. Hope became her most vital tool, a fragile flame she protected fiercely. Each morning she found a reason to keep going. Sunrise, berries, the stream's promise. She spoke to her parents as if they walked beside her, promising not to give up. But despair crept in. Rain, hunger, exhaustion. The jungle felt like a prison. In her darkest moments she remembered her promise and her family's faces. She forced herself to stand, to take one more step. Courage, she learned, was moving forward despite fear. Survival was a battle of the mind as much as the body. Lucia's body weakened, her frame grew gaunt, her injuries worsened. The jungle wore her down day by day. On the 9th day, a torrential downpour forced her to shelter, shivering and hopeless. She believed she would die there, her hope nearly gone. But a vivid image of her father's proud smile jolted her back. "Don't you dare give up," my little warrior echoed in her mind. When the rain stopped, she summoned her last strength and followed the stream. Then, a flash of color, a plastic bottle in the mud, a sign of people. Energy surged through her. She pressed on. Soon, she spotted a wooden canoe tied to a branch. She was close. She had to be. With her last breath, she screamed for help. Her voice was raw, desperate, echoing through the jungle. "Help me, please!" Her cry was nearly swallowed by the jungle, lost in the endless tangle of vines and the chorus of unseen creatures. The Amazon, vast and ancient, seemed to close in around her, its shadows deepening as dusk settled over the riverbank. For a moment, there was only silence, an overwhelming heavy quiet that pressed against her ears. Then, cutting through the hush, a human voice called back, faint but unmistakable, a lifeline thrown across the wilderness. Lucia's eyes snapped open, hope flared within her, fierce and sudden. She had almost forgotten what hope felt like, but now it surged through her veins, giving her the strength to call out again. Two men emerged from the undergrowth, their faces etched with exhaustion and disbelief. They had searched for hours, perhaps days, never truly expecting to find anyone alive in this unforgiving place. What they saw was a small skeletal girl, her body frail from hunger and exposure, yet her eyes, bright and unwavering, burned with an undeniable will to live, a spark that refused to be extinguished. The men rushed to her side, their voices gentle and soothing, offering words of comfort and reassurance. In that moment, compassion bridged the gap between strangers and hope became real. One of the men carefully lifted her into his arms. She was as light as a bird, her weight a stark reminder of her ordeal. Yet in his embrace, she felt safe for the first time in days. Safe at last, Lucia let her eyes close, surrendering to the darkness, but this time with the comfort of knowing she was no longer alone. The jungle's dangers faded away, replaced by the warmth of human kindness. As dawn broke over the riverbank, painting the sky with gentle hues, her ordeal was finally over. Against all odds, she had survived the night, and a new day awaited her. Lucia's story is a testament to the human spirit, a reminder that even in the harshest conditions, courage and hope can endure. Her journey speaks to the strength that lies within us all, Even in the darkest times, hope is a force of nature, breaking through despair like sunlight through the thickest canopy. It guides us forward, even when the path is hidden. Resilience isn't about being unbreakable, but about rising one more time than you fall. It's the quiet determination to keep moving, to keep believing no matter how many times you stumble. Sometimes, one more step is all it takes to find your way back to the light. In the heart of the jungle, Lucia found her miracle, and with it, the promise of a new beginning.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.